let's actually jump back to our government overreach conversation, and then after this we'll jump to super chats.
Okay.
So, oh man, this one really bugged me. The New York Post: more than 1,500 NYC inmates have been released during the coronavirus crisis.
I don't get this.
It's from a week ago. Well, it makes sense. All right. You got a bunch of people in closed quarters. They can't go anywhere. They're getting sick. And maybe it makes sense to put them under house arrest. I mean, not only that, but house arrest makes more sense for everything, to be honest.
Well, I did read that it's like blue collar / like nonviolent,
right?
That kind of stuff. So I don't know. I'm not necessarily agreeing with this, but it isn't necessarily worse than it seems. You know, because this is a scary. Like, you never know. It's like 1,500 like criminals
no,
out
man.
there. Like,
there was one story about a murderer who got released and then went and murdered somebody.
Yep.
You saw that one?
Day.
Yeah, the next day.
Well, there you go.
Bro, let me tell you a story. I took a community college course for about a month on criminal justice when I was 18.
Okay.
First, I'll explain this. The secret to life. You don't need a high school diploma to go to college. You can go to a community college once you turn 18.
Okay.
And you take one course for however cheap it is, and then you put down some college on all your applications.
Yep.
Some college.
Yeah, I'm a high school dropout. That's the loophole. But anyway, I chose some classes I thought were fun, theater acting.
Okay. And
I did a criminal justice class, and we learned about this murderer. There's something called the exclusionary rule. What did Ben Shapiro call it? The fruit of the
fruit of the poisonous tree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if the police acquire evidence by violating your rights, that evidence can't be used in court.
Right.
Awesome rule. Well, there was a story about a guy who had like murdered a bunch of people, and he gets pulled over. The cops illegally search his vehicle because the cop knew he was a suspect for these murders. So he stops the guy, and then he illegally detains him and searches the vehicle. Boom, finds hard evidence like blood or something.
Okay.
So they arrest him. The DA is like, "We got him." And then once they get ready to gear up, his lawyer says, "What was the reason for the stop?" And lo and behold, the cop said, "Oh, I don't know. He was a suspect." And the DA is like, "No.
Like, why?
That's a Fourth Amendment violation.
Yeah.
You can't just stop random person because
just because you think."
Dude got released. And you know what he did? Killed somebody the next day.
Did they get him
Well,
then?
so this is anecdotal and possibly apocryphal.
Oh my gosh.
But like almost immediately he kills again. And the craziest thing was, and this is a story I was being told by the teacher, so I don't know how true it is. Maybe you could look it up. Apparently, they find a dead body outside of his apartment, like just in plain sight.
What?
And so they go to him, and he's like, "Oh, I did it, yeah." And they were like, "What?" Why? And he goes like, "They're like, why didn't you try and get away with it?" He's like, "Oh, you caught me already."
Oh my gosh.
It's something like that.
What?
That's
Now,
insane.
It's been
Gosh, this is nuts.
16 years, I think.
Okay. How long ago was that? That was 16 years ago?
No. Since I was told that story.
Since you were told.
It may have been in the 80s or something.
So a long time
But
ago.
the point of the story was to explain that even though we recognize how you can lose, some people can get hurt, the Constitution's the Constitution.
Okay.
Police cannot violate this. So going back to the inmates being released, right?
Yeah.
I do think it from a civil liberties perspective, it makes sense. I do not think the state has a right to lock you in a box full of sick people. If you want to talk about
how did it get in there in the first place? I mean,
a guard.
You're right.
Visitors.
They go home.
Yeah.
Come back
Yep.
in. Visitors. Yeah.
And now you got these people locked in these tiny rooms.
Yeah.
This actually goes into the governor's abuse of power, because there have been numerous studies, even studies out of China, showing that people outside are substantially less likely to catch COVID.
Interesting.
It's in your home, in your office, in jail.
Interesting.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, like, we're in this room. It's not that big.
Right.
So if you coughed, you're going to splatter the wall with all that COVID stuff. Ugh. And then I might walk by and accidentally put my hand up or something, or might lean on it to tie my shoe, or boom, there it is. You're outside and you cough, it goes in the grass. I walk 20 feet in the other direction, not even think twice.
Yeah.
So that's why people have been saying these lockdowns need to be lifted. The same is true for a lot of criminals. House arrest makes sense if they're doing nonviolent offenders, maybe like drug offenses or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That makes sense to me.
But I think the bigger picture here, what I'm trying to bring up is ultimately it looks like a general breakdown in social order.
Yeah.
It's not about whether or not the prisoners should or shouldn't be released. It's about the fact they are being released. Whatever your argument might be. It's about the fact we got this story. NYC nurse who beat coronavirus, pummeled, robbed by a group of thugs. So in New York City, you get a nurse, front line on the COVID, gets beat up and mugged, saved by random bystanders.
Oh, she was saved by random bystanders? This is awesome.
That's great.
But not
Nice.
cops.
Hear that.
Then you get this.
Of course not.
Oh, no.
Video appears to show NYPD seizing young boy for selling candy in the subway.
Oh, look how sad this dude looks. He's like, "Are you kidding me, man?"
What are the videos we get? Now it's possible that we're not hearing about the good things the cops do, like helping grandma across the street and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
there's definitely good cops out there. I know a few myself. It's like,
But
they exist.
But I'm
I
not
know they do.
I'm not talking right now about the percentage of good cops versus bad cops.
Okay.
I'm talking about a breakdown in social order.
Yeah.
We get videos of cops arresting 12-year-old kids or detaining them, or whatever. We get stories about a nurse being beaten by random muggers, no cop in sight. Now, they eventually did arrest some of these guys, so I don't want to act like the cops have done literally nothing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to point out that if we're going to start letting people out of jail, if Philadelphia says we're not going to be arresting people anymore.
They did announce that. That's true.
They did.
A while ago.
Yes. Yep.
And-
They're like, we're
and
going
in
to postpone it.
California? Was it California they did it?
Yeah.
First?
And they're releasing
like
inmates all over the place.
They're setting the precedence.
Yeah.
To, like
And-
people that see, that's what I was talking about, robberies in New York going up. It's if you announce these things, if you tell everyone no one's going to be there, the people that are interested in those things are like, yep, now I'm going to go do it. This is the
Exactly.
perfect time for me to go out and do this.
That's
Don't know
what
why
I'm.
they announced it.
That's the point I have for this, right? It's kind of it seems like there's some stories that look like government overreach, 12-year-old kid getting detained, right? But I think the reality is with a bunch of cops being sick, a bunch of cops not wanting to get COVID, so they're kind of being distant.
Mm-hmm.
You got commercial burglaries are up 75%. You got 1,500
in New York,
1,500 people being released from jail. This nurse is getting beat up. Kids are getting stopped. What is the message being sent to bad people in New York City? You've got a governor telling you you can't go to the gardening section. Who cares? It's snowing anyway. But then they'll stop this 12-year-old kid. They'll tell you in Philadelphia, we're not going to arrest someone for burglary or for auto theft.
Right.
Or-
We'll give them a ticket for them to be arrested at a later date.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That'll work
Yep.
out great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what ends up happening when they do this. I'm not going to say I have any stats to cite, but when one jurisdiction loses control, people outside come in. So if Philadelphia says we're going to give you a ticket, you come back later. Some dude in Baltimore is like, "You want to take a hop over to Philly?"
Yeah,
Because they're
let's
not
go
going to arrest
break into
us.
some stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they won't. They'll give us tickets, but we'll never go to Philly again.
So we simultaneously have, it's really amazing about the pandemic. We're getting like government overreach in some places and like government underreach, I guess, in other
basically,
places.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What is
Like
going on?
like it was that meme I was mentioning, the political compass, where every faction got something they wanted.
Yep.
Yep.
It's like the authoritarian left is like the corporations are dying. The libertarian left is like I can't remember exactly what everyone wanted, but
Yeah.
you've got borders tightening up for the authoritarian right. The libertarian right is saying the government's spazzing out. Everybody
Yeah.
gets something they want.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like there was someone sitting in a park by themselves and they got a ticket. Like the guy running on the beach. It's just like one person. I mean, I get it. You got to set the precedent, so if one person goes, then 5 people go, then 100 people go, and it's like, but I don't like it.
But we just heard
I
that
know.
you are substantially less likely to contract this outside.
Exactly.
So they're forcing people inside where they're more likely to get sick. That's why authoritarianism doesn't work.
It
That's
doesn't.
what I was saying.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they're smarter than everybody else.
I don't see the problem with opening up anyway. Everybody's washing their hands. No one's shaking hands. Everyone's wearing a mask. Like, what's really going to change? Like,
Right.
Why wouldn't we just go back to work? Like, open things up, wear a mask, wash your hands, don't shake anybody's hand, stay away from each other. Like, we can do this.
Isn't it?
It's 2020. We've been doing this for a while. I'm pretty sure we can
I hope
we can handle
do
it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the approval rating for Donald Trump if he wasn't a potty mouth?
Yeah.
Look. I know a lot of people are like, Tim, who cares? He's a potty mouth. I agree. I'm an adult and I'm just like, whatever. He does have the media against him, but if you took his policies and you changed his attitude,
His environmental policies are terrible.
but no one cares.
I do.
I know. I agree.
I think they're terrible.
I agree.
That's like
Totally.
the worst part about him.
Yeah, he's pulled back tons of regulations
It's
for environmental
ridiculous.
protections.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really bad.
But here's my question to you: have the Democrats brought that up at all?
Not in the slightest.
No, they haven't.
Nobody seems to be talking about it.
Right.
It's weird, It's like, why not?
If you came to me and told me that the Democrats were actually working secretly for Trump's reelection, I'd believe it.
Yeah, I would too.
Totally believe it. Look, they try to
You're
impeach.
right.
They try to impeach the guy, and he raises $100-something million. His approval rating skyrockets.
Yeah.
dude.
It's like they're trying again. Like Cenk Uygur is saying Trump should be impeached again. It's like, don't you?
Aren't they already trying again?
Do you remember what happened last time you did this?
Yeah.
Why would you? The dude's like inadvertently being. I guess I just say Hanlon's razor.
Yeah.
Never attribute to malice that which can be explained by incompetence. These people are so dumb.
Oh man.
But in terms of what I was just saying before, like you've got the Democrats, and this is one thing I've brought up all the time. People say like, Tim, why do you always back on the Democrats? It's like, can you tell me one thing that they've proposed recently?
Orange man bad.
That's right.
That's all I can think.
Now, of course,
That's it.
Proposal.
there are some policies they've proposed, and it's just not the leadership.
Well, Bernie,
Yeah, right.
I could probably name some things that Bernie has said, but thinking about what Biden says, he says Obama's name a couple times, says Orange Man bad a few more times, says and that thing a few times,
It really is. No, but
and then the cycle repeats.
he says that thing.
That and
the thing.
The thing.
But he's been getting worse, man.
I know, man.
I don't wanna-
I can't believe it.
I don't want to deviate too much.
No, sorry.
I think we can kind of wrap up the segment, jump over to Super Chats. But the point I'm trying to make is, if we got these cities, acting like they have no ability now to police properly,
Yeah.
that they can't arrest people because they don't have the manpower.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Why are we seeing police then arrest dudes jogging?
Yeah.
Or paddleboarding.
Attempt to.
Right. Why are we seeing all of this at a time where they're telling us they don't have the ability to do it? Why are they locking down,
Yeah.
telling us to stay in our homes? We can't go out. We got to sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hear stories about nurses getting pummeled. We hear stories about people being released from jail.
I do have to say, like, sure, it sounds easy to me to open back up, everyone wear a mask, wash your hands, but I lived in New York for a long time, and the New York subway system is packed tight, and New York, it has millions of people
9 million.
going through that every day. So if you took the subway system, sometimes you're shoulder to shoulder. So it doesn't matter. You're wearing a mask. You're still sweating. The summertime, it gets hot in there. It's gross sometimes. And it's like, that's a petri dish just waiting to happen.
I see what you're saying, Adam. In your call for reopening the government, you're saying we should purge New York and let them all fight themselves.
Whoa. You said that.
No, I didn't.
Those are your words.
Well, if
Don't
you're saying
don't twist
we
what
should
I'm
open
saying.
up.
No,
What
I
you're
just,
saying
I like
is-
to look at all sides of the coin. That's
Yeah.
Nobody
what I'm
wants to
doing.
say
Yeah.
the truth. And the truth is, we cannot have an economy shut down permanently, and we cannot open up in a population dense area where people will die. Guess what? Pick one. You have to.
Yeah.
You can't have both.
You're right. That's what we were talking about a month ago. Like, we just have, which one is it? It's people are gonna die. Which way kills less people?
Yeah.
Right.
That's the only choice we have, because people will die.
Dr. Oz got slammed because he said we should reopen the schools, or he said something like some people would want to open up the schools because we're looking at a 2 to 3% mortality. I think some people would be willing to accept that. So that's the gist of what he said, and he got torn apart. He apologized for it. And I think maybe he said it a little callously,
Yeah.
but I'm not a fan of people trying to pretend like the world is a bunch of foofy marshmallows and candy canes. The reality is, guess what? People are going to die.
Yeah. Hey, look.
Nothing will stop it.
We're animals. We're susceptible to this stuff. And the earth is, we have to deal with what happens on earth, and that's it. It's like, and that's the thing. We have to deal with it and move forward, not dwell and yell at people and blame. God,
It's like
can't stand that.
hard times, strong men,
Yep.
yada yada, man.
Something like that.
Yep.
You've got people unwilling to accept reality. It's actually perfectly in line with the healthcare as a human right crowd.
Yeah.
Would I personally prefer everybody to have access to healthcare? Oh, you betcha. Of
course.
And then some.
Yeah,
I'd love
why
if
not?
we, you ever see Elysium?
Yeah. It's
Where
great.
They got those beds you lay in and it cures every disease you
Yeah.
have.
Oh.
Cures your cancer.
Yeah. Oh, there's something wrong with you. You're
Yep.
clear now.
Oh, I'd love to give those to everybody. Guess what? They don't exist.
I know. They
So
don't.
in this movie, they try to make it seem like the rich people just don't want to share for no reason. And all the rich people are in space and they speak French and all the poor people speak Spanish. For real, it's funny. Yeah.
That's a good,
Stupid movie.
That's true.
Okay.
But like this is how they view the world. Like
Yeah.
there's a magic wand that will cure you and they just won't let you have it.
Yeah.
And that's
how
what
this
they tweet
works.
about.
Yeah,
But-
that's
but-
true. It feels like they feel like they're in Elysium. That
Right.
like somewhere out there's this magical
Cure everyone can just
cure
have.
that the rich people have that they can just pop the pill and be fine.
It's because they don't want to accept that people die and we are not gods. We
Yep.
can't stop it.
Yeah, people die.
There was a story about, I think it was Louisiana. Some kid had a genetic disease.
Okay.
They said the cure, was $4 million.
Yeah.
And so the family demanded the state pay for it. And the state was like, we can't $4 million
How can you do
for this. And they demanded the state pay for it. I try explaining this to a lot of these people when they don't want to hear the truth. I'm like, you understand that there's no cure for some diseases, right?
Okay.
If a company right now invented an extremely risky and expensive treatment to cure, say, like, let's say we could definitively cure leukemia, boom, snap of the fingers. And they would only and they had to do all of this work, build a new machine called the Leukemerator. And it was made of like ridiculous parts. It was built by, specialists, and it cost $100 million to build.
Mm-hmm. With materials mined from the moon, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they were like, everybody should have it. It's a human right. No, I'm sorry. If you can afford to operate the machine.
By the way, it costs $4 million to operate the machine.
Yeah, pull the trigger one time to cure leukemia, $4 million.
Yeah.
So we're going to get it to as many people as we can, but it's not a right.
Right.
It's a technology the same as anything else.
Yeah, and the whole health thing kind of bugs me too, because there's so much self-health care that people don't deal with. Like brushing your teeth, getting enough sleep, eating enough food, getting the correct amount of nutrients from that food, I mean, all of these things, exercising, getting up and walking every day. It's like there's plenty of people that don't follow these things, and a lot of those people are the ones going, why not free healthcare for everybody?
Yep.
I'm sick. Why should I have to pay for this? Well, it's like you're also not very healthy.
Right. It's
that
healthcare
kinda bugs me.
Healthcare isn't just the doctor giving you a pill to swallow.
Yeah.
It's eating the right food.
Mm-hmm.
It's exercising.
Exactly.
They don't want to do
Taking
it.
care of yourself.
They don't want to do it.
Responsibility.
Yeah,
So
that's
then
part of it.
what happens when it comes to the government? What happens when it comes to the coronavirus? For one, they want the government to do everything.
Yep.
You do it. Just tell me what to do. And then they assume that there's a magic switch that makes everything all better. That, so it's funny. There are some people that are just the fakest. Like, what's that? Rubin? Jennifer or whatever?
Jennifer Rubin.
Yeah.
She's supposedly conservative.
She's not.
Camera.
Oh, okay. Yes.
You got a camera. You got to use
I'm
it.
here. I have to look at the camera. Yeah, Jennifer Rubin. She's supposed
But
to be the conservative, and she's not even.
I mean,
close.
I don't. She can tweet whatever she wants.
That's
like
true.
she can call herself whatever she wants. But she tweeted like the Trump death toll or something.
The Trump.
And it was just
toll.
like, it was stats about like if we closed down a week earlier, how many people would have died versus 2 weeks later. And it's like, yes, it's all Trump's fault. Always Trump's fault. You are absolved of all responsibility. You don't exist.
Except, of course, when he did close it down, you were the person going,
Why
why is he doing this? Xenophobe.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, wait, what? But now you're saying now there's a list of death toll blaming him?
Yep.
It's
that's how
just
it works.
it's so I think you have these people who believe that they're deserving of everything, that there's a magic wand to cure all their problems, and you get people like her who kind of inflame and exacerbate that mentality.
Yep.
Because if a person came up, let's say a person walked into this room right now and said, I think all pizza should be free. And then all three
Whoa,
of
pizza?
all pizza should be free. Ooh. And then all three of us immediately said, that's not possible. Who's going to get the wheat? Who's going to make the cheese?
Whoa. I don't know if that'd be my answer. Free pizza sounds pretty good.
It does sound pretty good.
You got something there.
Free
I think.
pizza, man.
Yeah.
I love pizza, man.
So who's gonna make the dough?
I'm gonna
It's a
plant
good.
the wheat.
Who's
See,
gonna make-
you
who's
got
gonna
me.
make the-
You got me there, man. You got me
So
there.
these people live in a world where they think it's like we were talking about yesterday. The bridge is just there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you go to New York and there's a bridge just there for you to use for free.
Yeah.
You don't got to pay anything for it. You just walk right across it.
Yeah. Well, some of the bridges for free.
To walk across?
Oh, to walk across. Yeah. You can
Yeah,
walk.
they're-
That's true.
Yeah, they're free to walk across.
Well, the tunnels aren't free.
Right.
Well, I guess like the George Washington.
yeah.
and,
That one
you
you
know,
only
If-
from the Jersey side.
if you're leaving New York.
yeah, if you're leaving, you're good.
No. If you're leaving, you're good.
Yeah.
If you're coming in, you got to pay.
Yeah.
You know why they do that? Keeps poor people out.
Seriously?
So
Heck.
Is that a thing, or are you just kind of
throwing
that out
This
there?
is the like, I guess I don't want to say urban legend, but like common claim from people in big cities.
Okay.
It always costs money to come in. It's always free to leave.
Mm.
They charge you to come in. It's not so much to keep the poor people out necessarily, but it's to reduce congestion and stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, the poor people
That's
can't
the
pay the
effect.
$5 to
Yeah.
drive into the city. They'll take a
Dang.
bus for $2 or something.
Well, you know what it reminds me of? Like the music guy out in the street always sell it for something. It's because if someone buys it,
Yeah.
they're more inclined to listen to the CD as opposed to here.
So
listen to my
listen.
CD. Yeah, sure, I'll listen to
Yeah,
it.
man.
let's hit the nail on the head with the main point of what we're talking about here with medical issues and the coronavirus pandemic. We're going to reopen up.
Yeah.
Andrew Cuomo says he wants to do it.
Yeah, we are.
Absolutely.
I think you look at Trump's plan, you look at the governor's plan. Everybody's trying their hardest to mitigate the damage.
Yep.
It doesn't help when you have partisans come out and attack Cuomo or attack Trump, and everyone tries to pass the blame. Of course, Trump gets it the worst than everybody.
Yeah,
worse than anybody.
but there's always those people that are just shooting guns at whoever is their target. And it doesn't matter who the target is. There's a person out there shooting guns at everybody, basically.
Well, I'm always targeting the media for the most part, right?
True.
The way I put it is, I think de Blasio got it the worst. Like, he was encouraging people to go out in New York City into March. Trump wasn't not doing that.
Yeah.
Andrew Cuomo actually rejected the de Blasio's assertion they would shut down the city. He said, "Get real, we're not going to do it."
Yeah.
You can criticize all three of them, but I'll tell you what. We're trying to fight through this problem.
Yep.
We know it's going to get bad. People are going to lose their lives. So I will give my respect to de Blasio. I think he's trying. I don't think he's the best guy in the world. I think he's made mistakes. But do I think he's trying? Of course. You'd be insane to think they want people to die.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Trump,
Of course.
de Blasio, Cuomo, of course they're trying. Let's chill out a little bit. Let them do their job. Whether it's a Democrat, Newsom as well, Gavin Newsom, and they've had back and forth with the president too. But all I see from so many people is this. There's like two things that overlap. Trump, all these people who died, it's all Trump's fault, and this could have been solved without loss of life. That's just not true.
Neither one of those.
So
things
if
are true.
Cuomo wants to reopen things, and so does Trump, and Trump said, "Here's my plan, here's the phase, it's up to you guys," yeah, it's going to get worse. We're going to see waves probably. We'll see more loss of life. Nobody wants to admit it. Dr. Oz has to apologize for saying it. Guess what? Do you want to reopen schools? What are you going to do? Hide in your basement and lock the doors? It'll never go away.
Yeah.
So I don't have to tell you guys, man. It's like sometimes there's a boogeyman that's really going to come and get you, and you can't just hide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll use one last analogy that's very esoteric.
Great.
When you're playing Magic the Gathering and you're scared your opponent has a counterspell, you can't just sit there doing nothing. You have to play through it.
That's my style. I play through them counter spells.
Now everyone's like, I have no idea what that meant.
Well, I used to see it when people would come into the hospital. They would come in with their parents, and their parent is very sick, and they would talk to them about their parent dying, and they were like, well, we had never anticipated that this would happen to our parent. Yeah, it happens to everyone.
Newsflash. People die.
Yeah.
To quote-
Weird and crazy.
To paraphrase Fight Club, on a long enough timeline, the mortality rate for everyone becomes 0.
Yeah.
Or-
no,
or-
it's 100%.
100.
Becomes
Something like that.
no. He says the life expectancy of everyone becomes 0. It's something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that.
Yeah, on a long enough timeline, guess what? People die.
Yeah.
I guess some people want to live in. You ever see the movie The Invention of Lying?
Great movie.
Awesome movie.
That's funny.
It's for those who aren't familiar, Ricky Gervais. He lives. It's hilarious. He lives in a world where no one can lie. Movies are a dude sitting in a chair reading history, like an encyclopedia entry.
Yeah.
And one day he discovers he can lie, like an accident. He's like, whoa, and he tries to explain to people what a lie is. No one understands. But there's a scene, and look, I know it might be spoiling it for people who didn't see it, but it's a really old movie.
Yeah.
His mom's dying. And she's scared, and she's like, I don't want to be nothing. And he goes, no, it's not true. You're going to see everyone you've ever loved. You're going to be happy for all eternity. And she's like, really? And he's like, yes. And he's crying and sad, just trying to tell her whatever she needs to hear to make her feel good.
Yeah.
That's the problem we have right now, just in general. An inability to accept that life is not always going to be perfect. You are not just going to wake up one day with a magic cure and $1 million and a check from the government. It's just not working that way.
Nope.
If you want to eat good, you got to go work good. If you want to, if you want to succeed, you got to work for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta do the work.
Everybody is
You gotta
just
get out there. You gotta get up and focus on the goal that you want and make it happen.
Yeah.
Everybody's so jealous, man.
And never say no.
Jealous
And
entitled.
never let those people affect you. That's also huge because there's
Yep.
people out there that are like, oh, I tried, but then all these people hated me, so I just gave up. And it's like,
I think
you
about
gotta
it-
not care about those people because you just said it. They're just jealous. They're just
man.
they're
Real
angry
jealous.
because they're not doing that. They're sitting there just pointing and yelling because that's as bold as they are able to get.
It's like I imagine someone, walks onto a field, has a bunch of supplies, and starts just, building away. And they're building a little tree fort.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, they will have their little tree fort.
Yeah.
And they're going to be able to hang out in there and, read some comic books or whatever they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else, instead of, hammering away, is staring at them saying, it's not fair. I want that treehouse. Well, guess what, dude? If you started hammering those pieces of wood up against that tree in a month, the same amount of time, you'd have one.
Yep.
But instead, they just complain about how they deserve it from someone else.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
so sick of that.
You should give us your treehouse because you have it. Dude, I've had friends tell me this. It's like, here's the biggest red flag for roommates. They were like, I said, if we'll all split the electric bill. They argued to me, well, we like it, really hot, like 75, 76. And I'm like, I do not want to be that hot in my place. If you want to jack the heat up, then you pay for it. And they're like, well, actually, you make more money than us, so you should pay for most of it.
Oh,
Wow, really?
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
Not even kidding. It's a true story. And I was like, nope, no chance. I'm not living with these people. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify. And we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.